The bonfire roared like a beast unchained, flames licking the October sky as if tasting the chill in the air. I stumbled back against the cider stall, the sharp tang of fermented apples burning my nostrils, when his hand clamped around my wrist. Iron grip, no give, like he'd been waiting his whole damn life for this moment. "You're mine now," he growled, voice low and gravelly, eyes black as the Hudson at midnight, and before I could scream or shove or beg the universe for a do-over, his teeth sank into the tender flesh of my neck, marking me forever in front of God, the harvest moon, and every oblivious tourist in goddamn Beacon, New York. My name's Elijah Harper, and up until that autumn festival 2 years ago, I was just another Omega scraping by in the Hudson Valley, bartending at a dive called the Rusty Lantern, dodging my pack's judgmental stares, and pretending my heats didn't leave me curled up in a ball of sweat-soaked sheets, whispering prayers to saints who never listened. 25 years old, orphaned young, raised by a ragtag extended family that treated me like a fragile heirloom nobody wanted to polish. Alphas? They were wolves in suits, sniffing around for easy conquests, but I kept my sense suppressants stocked and my heart locked tighter than Fort Knox. That night, though, with the festival in full swing, lanterns strung like drunken fireflies over stalls hawking pumpkin pies and handmade quilts, I let my guard slip. Just for a beer. Just for the fiddle music that tugged at something feral in my chest. Nathaniel Blackwood crashed into my world like a freight train derailed by fate. He was the alpha every small-town whisper warned about, CEO of Blackwood Enterprises, that sprawling conglomerate turning upstate orchards into luxury eco-resorts, buying up land faster than you could say, gentrification. 6'4" of pure command, broad shoulders straining against a cashmere sweater, jaw carved from the same granite as the Catskills, and eyes that stripped you bare before you even blinked. I'd seen his face on billboards, smirking down from highway overpasses like he owned the goddamn air we breathed. What the hell was he doing at the Beacon Harvest Fest? Schmoozing locals over corn mazes? Or hunting? I didn't know I was the prey until his scent hit me. Smoke and sandalwood, alpha pheromones so potent they cut through the mulled wine haze like a knife. I'd been laughing with my cousin Mia, her beta steadiness a bomb against the festival's chaos, when the crowd parted. There he was, striding through like Moses through the Red Sea, a glass of bourbon dangling from his fingers. Our eyes locked, and the world tilted. My suppressants failed me right then, heat blooming low in my gut, slick threatening to betray me in front of half the town. He zeroed in, predatory grace in every step, and before I could bolt, he was there, close enough to feel the heat radiating off him like a forge. "Elijah," he said, my name rolling off his tongue like he'd tasted it before. How the fuck did he know? Mia's jaw dropped, but I was frozen, pulse thundering in my ears. He leaned in, breath hot against my ear. "I've been waiting for you." Lies. Probably, alphas like him collected omegas like vintage watches. But then the wind shifted, carrying my unsuppressed scent straight to him, and his pupils blew wide. A low rumble built in his chest, that primal alpha call that makes your knees buckle. I shoved at him, weak as a kitten. "Back off, asshole. I ain't your toy." His laugh was dark, velvet thunder. "Oh, sweetheart, you have no idea." And that's when the mark happened. The bonfire's glow painting us in hellfire oranges, his body caging mine against the stall's rough planks. Pain lanced through me, sharp and electric, but beneath it, a flood of something deeper, belonging, raw and unfiltered. His teeth broke skin, bonding us in that ancient, unbreakable way alphas claim their mates. I gasped, claws digging into his arms, the world narrowing to the wet heat of his mouth, the pulse of his claim sinking into my veins like ink. Around us, the festival blurred, kids shrieking on hayrides, accordions wheezing folk tunes, but in that instant, it was just us. Marked. Bound. Doomed. When he pulled back, blood-smeared lips curving into a possessive smile, I slapped him. Hard. The crack echoed louder than the fireworks popping overhead. "What the fuck did you do?" My voice cracked, tears stinging as the bond snapped taut between us, a silver thread yanking at my soul. Mia was yelling, grabbing my arm, but Nathaniel didn't flinch. He just touched the mark, thumb gentle as a lover's caress. "Protected you. From everything. Bullshit." I wrenched free, stumbling into the crowd, the metallic tang of my own blood mixing with cider on my tongue. But even as I ran, past jack-o'-lanterns grinning mockingly, through the crush of flannel-clad bodies, the bond hummed, alive and insistent. He was in me now, and I hated how right it felt. The next morning, I woke up in my cramped apartment above the bar, sheets tangled like accusations. The mark throbbed, a fresh tattoo of fate, and my phone was blowing up. "Mia, WTF Elijah? Call me." "Unknown number. This is Nathaniel. We need to talk." "Dinner. 7 p.m. The Gilded Leaf." I deleted it, then deleted it again when it pinged back. By noon, a sleek black SUV idled outside my window, tinted glass hiding whatever enforcer he'd sent. Beacon was small, word traveled faster than flu season. By evening, half the town knew Elijah Harper, the quiet Omega bartender, got claimed by Nathaniel fucking Blackwood at the fest. My pack, uncles and aunts who'd barely acknowledged me since Mom died, called it a miracle. "Finally, someone to take care of you," Aunt Ruth drawled over voicemail, her voice thick with that faux concern Southern lilt she'd never shaken. I didn't go to dinner. Instead, I showed up at the Rusty Lantern for my shift, collar high to hide the bruise blooming purple around the mark. The bar was packed, locals nursing IPAs, tourists in Red Sox caps spinning yarns about leaf peeping. Jed, my grizzled beta boss, slid me a whiskey without asking. "Heard you had a night," I grunted, pouring drafts until my hands shook. Around midnight, the door swung open, and there he was, Nathaniel, filling the frame like a storm cloud. Conversations died. He didn't speak, just claimed the corner booth, ordering scotch neat. I ignored him for an hour, two, until last call, when he cornered me by the dish sink. "You can't run from this, Elijah." His voice was softer now, edged with something almost human, regret. The bond's set. I felt it too. I spun, sponge dripping soapy water onto the floor. "Felt what? A conquest? I'm not some acquisition for your portfolio." He stepped closer, towering but not crowding, that alpha scent wrapping around me like smoke from a dying fire. Close, without the festival frenzy. He was devastating. Faint stubble shadowing his jaw, a scar nicking his left eyebrow, eyes the color of storm-tossed waves. I didn't plan it. But now, I'd burn the world to keep you safe. Lies, I thought. Alphas like him didn't burn. They bought. Still, when his hand brushed mine, calluses from boardroom pens, not bar fights, sparks jumped along the bond. I yanked away, heart hammering. Get out, he did, but not before slipping a card into my apron. Nathaniel Blackwood. Call when you're ready. Ready for what? Stockholm Syndrome? Days blurred into a tense standoff. Nathaniel didn't push. Flowers arrived at the bar, lilies. My secret favorite. Anonymous but unmistakable. Then the threats started. And signed notes in my locker. Stay away from him. Mutt. Calls at 3 a.m. Heavy breathing and slurs. My pack whispered about rivals. Blackwood had enemies. Old money feuding over land deals. One night, after closing, I found my tires slashed in the alley. The word whore keyed into the hood. Panic clawed up my throat. Was this him, testing loyalty, or real danger? I called the number on the card at dawn. Voice steel despite the tremor. This bond? It's a curse. Undo it. His laugh was wry. Tired. Can't. Omega. But I can protect you. Let me. Against my better judgment, I said yes to coffee. Not dinner. Baby steps. We met at a diner off Route 9. Vinyl booths cracked like old skin. The air thick with grease and regret. He looked wrecked. Ties loosened. Eyes shadowed. Tell me about you, he said, pushing pancakes my way. No demands. Just listening as I spilled. The car crash that took my parents. The pack's cold shoulder. Heats that left me hollow. He nodded, fingers drumming the formica. My father's pack disowned me when I presented Alpha at 15. Built everything from nothing. Thought power was armor. His gaze dropped to the mark, peeking above my collar. Until you, something cracked in me then. Vulnerability, raw as an open vein. We talked for hours, the bond humming approval. By the time we parted, his hand lingering on my lower back, I felt seen. Not claimed. Seen. That night, I dreamed of bonfires and teeth, waking slick and aching, his name on my lips. But paradise in Beacon was a myth. 2 weeks in, the first real storm hit. Mia cornered me at family brunch, ham and biscuits steaming on Aunt Ruth's oak table. He's using you, Eli. Blackwood's poison. Remember the mill closure? Folks lost homes. Her eyes, so like Mom's, pleaded. I defended him, voice rising, until Uncle Cal slammed his fist. That Alpha's marked you like cattle. Your pack, boy. Act like it. The bond twisted, Nathaniel's distant worry bleeding through like radio static. I stormed out, driving to his estate on the river's edge, a sprawling Victorian monstrosity with ivy-choked turrets, overlooking the fall foliage like a king surveying his realm. He met me on the porch, sleeves rolled up, forearms corded with muscle. Trouble, I nodded, collapsing into his arms. No words, just his scent enveloping me, solid as oak. We ended up in his library, fire crackling, me curled on the leather sofa as he read contracts aloud in that deep timbre. When heat crept in unannounced, early, triggered by stress, I whimpered, and he was there, cool cloths, murmured reassurances, his alpha presence a balm without the rut's frenzy. I've got you, he whispered, nodding fingers with mine. No taking. Just holding. That night, as rain lashed the windows, I kissed him first, tentative, tasting bourbon and home. He groaned, pulling back. Elijah, the bond. Fuck the bond, I breathed. This is us. Winter crept in like a thief, frosting the Hudson's banks and turning Beacon into a postcard of denial. Pumpkin patches buried under snow, the festival stalls dismantled like forgotten dreams. Nathaniel and I danced around the bond's edges, stealing moments in stolen places. Late-night drives along winding back roads, his Bentley purring like a contented beast. Hikes in the frozen woods where he'd point out deer tracks and I'd tease him about his corporate wilderness survival skills. He was relentless in the wooing alpha through and through, but with a tenderness that disarmed me. Picnics in his greenhouse, exotic orchids blooming defiant against the cold, where he'd feed me strawberries dipped in chocolate, eyes darkening as juice stained my lips. "You're killing me, Omega," he'd murmur, but he'd wait, always wait, until I was ready. The pack's frostbite deepened. Aunt Ruth stopped inviting me to Sundays. Mia's texts grew sparse. "He's changing you, Eli. Wake up." I missed them, the tether of blood. But Nathaniel filled the voids with his own history. Boarding schools in Boston, a mother lost to cancer, a father who saw weakness in every emotion. "I built walls," he confessed one night, us tangled on his rug by the fire, my head on his chest. "Then you climbed right over." I traced the scar on his brow, bar fight in college, defending a beta roommate from frat hazing. "Hero complex?" he chuckled. "Low. Just hate bullies." Our first real heat bond came in January, a blizzard trapping us at his estate. I'd driven up for movie night, his idea of rom-coms with commentary, mocking the tropes while quoting lines verbatim. But the storm hit hard, power flickering, and then my body betrayed me. Cramps twisting like barbed wire, scent flooding the room. Nathaniel's jaw clenched, rut shadows flickering in his eyes, but he bundled me in furs, pacing the hall like a sentinel. "Breathe through it, love. I've got suppressants if—" "No," I gasped. "Slick pooling. Need clawing. You. Please." He was on me in seconds. Gentle ferocity, stripping layers with reverent hands. His mouth mapped me, neck, collarbone, the mark he'd given, teeth grazing without breaking skin again. When he entered me, slow and shattering, the bond sang mine, ours, forever. We nodded under starlight filtering through iced windows, his whispers weaving spells. "I love you, Elijah. God, I love you." After, sated and boneless, we talked futures. He wanted me to quit the bar, move in, build a life beyond Beacon's whispers. I hesitated, the pack's echoes loud. "What if I'm not enough? Your world, galas, deals. I'm just—" He silenced me with a kiss, fierce. "You're everything." But doubt lingered, a shadow under the snow. February brought the first crack. Blackwood Enterprises announced a buyout. The old Harper Mill, my family's legacy, shuttered since Dad's death, now eyed for condos. Nathaniel's doing? He swore no. But the headlines screamed conflict. Blackwood Eye's historic site, locals fume. Mia called. Voice venom. "See? He's devouring us." I confronted him in his office. Glass walls overlooking the white-capped river. "Is it true?" His face hardened. Alpha command slipping. "It's business, Elijah. Revitalization. Jobs. Jobs for who? Not us." The bond strained. Pain lancing. He reached for me. I recoiled. "You're choosing them over me." "No, I'm choosing us. Trust me." I didn't. Stormed out into the sleet, driving blind until I crashed at Mia's. her tiny bungalow reeking of sage and resentment. "Told you," she said, brewing tea. Over mugs. She spilled. Rumors of Nathaniel's past. A jilted Omega from his Yale days. Suicide whispers. "He breaks things. Eli." My stomach churned. The bond a dull ache. But when I woke to his texts, "Come home. Please." I went. Not to forgive, but to fight. We argued for hours, voices echoing off vaulted ceilings, until exhaustion won. "I can't lose you," he admitted, voice breaking. First time I'd seen him crack. I cupped his face. "Then don't." Spring thawed the ice, but not the undercurrents. Nathaniel integrated me slowly, dinners with his beta execs, where I'd charm them with bar tales, earning wary respect. He even visited my pack, Uncle Cal grumbling over pot roast, Aunt Ruth eyeing him like a fox in the henhouse. Progress, fragile as crocuses. Our love deepened in stolen intimacies. Lazy Sundays in his king bed, bodies entwined, his fingers tracing bond scars while I sketched him, charcoal smudges on linen sheets. "Artist now," he'd tease. "Just capturing my alpha." Laughter. Easy. But the mill loomed. April bloomed betrayal seeds. I found the email on his laptop, left open during a shower. Proposal to raise the mill. Nathaniel's signature bold at the bottom. For Elijah's sake, keep him out. My world tilted. For my sake? Or to bury ghosts? I confronted him poolside, azaleas shedding pink petals like blood. "You lied," he paled, water dripping from his hair. "It was to protect. The pack? Me? Or your empire?" Tears hot. I fled to the mill, rusted beams sagging, ghosts of Dad's laughter echoing. Nathaniel followed, rain starting as thunder grumbled. "Elijah, listen." The site's unstable, collapsing risk. I bought it to save it, turn it into a community center. Your name on the deed. Lies? Truth? The bond screamed sincerity, but trust frayed. We made up in the downpour, desperate and drenched. His body claiming mine against the mill wall, rough brick-biting skin. His knot locking us as lightning cracked. "Never again," he vowed, forehead to mine. Transparency. I believed him, clinging like ivy. Summer scorched in, festivals forgotten, our rhythm steady, me helping at the bar part-time, him jetting to Manhattan meetings but always returning with trinkets, a vintage watch from a flea market, engraved eternally yours. We hosted barbecues at the estate, packs mingling uneasily, Mia thawing over Nathaniel's brisket. Love felt invincible, fortress. But fortresses fall. August heat wave, and with it, the ghost, Marcus Hale, Nathaniel's old Yale rival, now a cutthroat developer slinging mud in the press. Blackwood's Omega toy, conflict of interest, photos leaked, me at galas, marked and marked up. Threats escalated. Slashed brakes on Mia's car, my apartment vandalized. Nathaniel hired security, discreet shadows, but they chafed. "This is your world," I snapped one night, glass of Merlot sloshing. "Danger included," he pulled me close. "I'll shield you," but shields crack. The high point came mid-September, anniversary of the mark. He blindfolded me, drove us to the festival grounds, now quiet meadows, goldenrod swaying. A picnic spread, cider, fiddles from a hired band. "To us," he toasted, then dropped to one knee, "not ring, but a key. Move in. For real. Tears blurred. I nodded, kissing him under the harvest moon redux. That night, in the Bentley under stars, we loved slow, his mouth worshipping every inch, bond thrumming symphony. Forever, I whispered. He echoed it, not deep, sealing promises. October circled back, leaves turning traitor red. The mill project broke ground, ceremony with ribbons and speeches, my pack beaming as Nathaniel handed me the plaque, Harper Community Center, in memory of Elias and Clara Harper. Healing, raw. But as shovels bit earth, my phone buzzed. Anonymous text. Photo attached. Nathaniel and Marcus. College days. Arms around a third figure and Omega. Pale and broken. Wrist scarred. Caption, he drove him to it. Run. Heart in throat. Pocketed it. Smiling for cameras. That night, confrontation brewed. The text burned a hole in my pocket all through the mill groundbreaking. A venomous secret amid the cheers and champagne flutes. Nathaniel's arm around my waist felt like chains now. His proud smile for the cameras a mask I suddenly questioned. In memory of Elias and Clara Harper. The plaque gleamed, but inside, doubt festered like an untreated wound. Who was that Omega in the photo? And why did Marcus Hale, of all people, have it? As dusk fell and guests dispersed, Uncle Cal clapping Nathaniel's back with grudging respect, Mia snapping pics for the family album. I slipped away to the porta-potties, hands shaking as I enlarged the image. The boy was young, maybe 20, eyes hollowed by shadows, Nathaniel's hand possessive on his shoulder, Marcus smirking like the devil at a baptism. Timestamp, 2008. 17 years ago. Back at the estate, I waited until the caterers cleared, feigning a headache to dodge pillow talk. Nathaniel found me in the library, silhouetted against floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a tumbler of scotch dangling from my fingers. Elijah, what's wrong? His scent shifted, concern laced with alpha alertness. I thrust the phone at him, screen glowing accusatory. Who the fuck is he? The Bond recoiled, a whip crack of pain, but he didn't flinch. Just stared, color draining from his face like milk from a cracked glass. Jude. Jude Callahan, voice flat, as if naming a ghost. We sat, him on the ottoman, me perched on the desk's edge, the room heavy with leather and lies. He talked in measured tones, the CO unraveling Yale, junior year, a triad experiment gone toxic. Nathaniel, Marcus, Jude, Alphas and Omega, bonded in youthful hubris. We were idiots. Thought we could share. Jealousy festered. Marcus pushed boundaries. Nathaniel pulled back too late. Jude cracked. Pills. Razor blades in a dorm bathroom. Survived, but scarred. Vanished after graduation. I failed him, Nathaniel whispered, head in hands. Blamed myself for years. That's why the walls. Marcus, still nursing grudges, using old wounds to sabotage the mill deal, land grabs, whispers to investors. I wanted to rage, to claw at the Bond for dragging me into this haunted history. And the photo? How'd it get to me? His jaw tightened. Hale's playbook. Stir shit. Watch it burn. The pieces clicked. The threats. The vandalism, not random, but targeted. Marcus, eyeing Blackwood's empire, using me as the weak link. Fury boiled, but under it, pity for Nathaniel, The boy who'd buried guilt under billions. I slid to the floor, knees bracketing his. You should have told me. He looked up, eyes wrecked. Feared it'd break us. Our kiss was salt and salvation. Bodies colliding in a tangle of need and absolution. He took me there, on the Persian rug, desperate thrusts, his knot swelling as sobs mingled with moans. Forgive me, he chanted. I did, whispering I love you like a lifeline. But forgiveness is fragile china, and Marcus Hale was a bull in the shop. November winds howled portents as we hunkered down. Security tripled, Nathaniel's betas vetting every shadow. I dove into the community center plans, channeling ghosts into blueprints, art studios for local kids, a memorial garden for lost packs. It grounded me, this building from ashes. Nathaniel watched, softer in stolen moments, breakfasts where he'd burn toast but nail the eggs, evenings with his head in my lap as I read poetry aloud, Frost's birches bending like our bond under strain. The first strike landed mid-month, a leak to the Beacon Gazette, Blackwood's dark past. Omega suicide linked to CEO. Jude's story twisted. Nathaniel painted as the villain who drove him over the edge. Marcus quoted anonymously as a concerned alumnus. The town turned. Glares at the bar. Petitions to halt the mill. My pack fractured. Mia neutral. Uncle Calvenimus. Knew he was rotten. I defended. Voice raw on family conference calls. But isolation crept in. Nathaniel retreated to war rooms, barking orders to PR firms, his alpha dominance a shield cracking at the edges. One night, after a brutal board meeting, stock dips, investor pullouts, he came home shattered, slamming doors until I found him in the wine cellar, bottle to lips. It's over, he slurred, eyes bloodshot. Everything I built for you, for us, crumbling. I wrestled the Merlot away, straddling him on the stone floor. Then fight dirty. Expose Marcus. He laughed. Bitter. Can't. More skeletons. But as I kissed fire from his veins, rut igniting, he confessed fragments. His father's pack ties to shady deals, debts Marcus held like IOUs. I'm tainted. Elijah. Run while you can. I didn't. Instead, I dug, hacking his old emails with a borrowed laptop. Don't judge. Desperation breeds hackers. Unearthing threads from Yale. Jude's pleas ignored. Marcus's taunts egging it on. The truth was murkier, shared blame, but Nathaniel's silence the deepest cut. Armed with files, I confronted Marcus myself. Met him at a sleazy motel off I-87, heart pounding like a war drum. He lounged on the bed, silk robe gaping, smirk oily. Little Omega playing detective? Cute. I slapped the printouts down. Back off. Or this goes public, your role in Jude's hell. His laugh chilled. Proof? Hearsay. But hurt Nathaniel? I'd pay to watch. The threat hung, but I walked out unbroken. Nathaniel raged when I told him, caging me against the wall, possessive growls vibrating. Never again. You're mine to protect. We fucked like apocalypses, clawing, biting, his mark reopening in ecstasy pain. But safety was illusion. December dawned with snow and sabotage. The center's foundation poured, but inspectors found violations, shoddy work, bribes implied. Nathaniel's team traced it to Marcus's shell company. Retaliation. Lawsuits flew. Headlines warred. Amid chaos, our love was the eye, quiet rituals like decorating the tree. Me stringing lights while he hummed off-key carols. Or bundling against the cold for walks, mittened hands linked. "Remember the festival?" he'd murmur, nuzzling my neck. I'd shiver, not from frost. Best mistake ever. Christmas Eve. Pack truce. Dinner at the estate. Tensions thawed by eggnog and Nathaniel's charm offensive. Aunt Ruth even hugged him goodbye. Hope flickered. But as midnight mass bells tolled from town, my phone lit, video link, anonymous. Marcus and a thug, dragging a hooded figure into a van, my van, from the plate. Then, my voice, a doctored clip from our arguments, twisted into pleas for help. "He's gonna kill me." Panic surged, Bond alerting Nathaniel instantly. He mobilized cops, trackers, but I was already gone, snatched from the driveway during dessert. Black hood, zip ties, the van's rumble carrying me into nightmare. Marcus's voice, close and cruel. "Leverage, Omega. Your alpha folds, or you break." They dumped me in an abandoned warehouse on the river's industrial fringe. Rusty beams echoing drips, Hudson's stench seeping through cracks. Hours blurred, taunts, slaps leaving bruises blooming like ink. The Bond screamed, Nathaniel's fury a distant roar, but isolation gnawed. This is his world, I thought, curling fetal. Danger included. Dawn cracked gray when the door exploded. Nathaniel, Beta's flanking, Ice Feral Alphared. Gunfire popped. Chaos. Marcus's men dropping, him scrambling for a back exit. Nathaniel reached me first, tearing bonds, scooping me into steel arms. "Elijah, God, baby," sobs choked us, his scent washing terror away. Marcus, cuffed, snarling as cops dragged him. "This ain't over. Blackwood, it was, for us." In the aftermath, hospital checks, statements. Nathaniel never left my side, sleeping in vinyl chairs, whispering apologies like prayers. I should have seen it coming. I squeezed his hand, for tugging. "We fight together now." The story broke. Full exposure. Marcus's empire crumbling under indictments. Jude even surfaced, therapist in Vermont, forgiving in a letter. "Heal, Nathaniel. You deserve it." New Year bloomed tentative. Therapy sessions for us both. Pack mending with time. The center rose, a phoenix of brick and beam. January 2026 thawed into a tentative spring. The Hudson Valley shedding its winter skin like a snake molting doubts. The community center stood half-framed against the sky, skeletal beams promising shelter, much like Nathaniel and I piecing our fractured trust. Marcus Hale rotted in pretrial detention, his empire auctioned off in fire sale chunks, but victory tasted like ash. Nightmares plagued me. Warehouse drips morphing into festival fiddles, his taunts echoing Nathaniel's old silences. Therapy helped, Dr. Lena, a no-nonsense beta with a Brooklyn accent, coaxing confessions in her sunlit office. Bonds aren't chains, Elijah. They're bridges. But bridges need maintenance. Nathaniel joined sessions, his alpha pride yielding to vulnerability, admitting how Jude's ghost had armored him against love. "Feared I'd destroy you too." We'd leave hand in hand, lighter, stopping for gelato at that kitschy spot in Cold Spring, chocolate smudges on his tie-earning eye rolls. Publicly, Nathaniel spun redemption. Press conferences at the center site, arm around me as we announced scholarships in Jude's name, art programs for at-risk omegas. The town lapped it up, Beacon's fickle heart forgiving faster than a nor'easter blows over. My pack? Slower thaw. Uncle Cal grunted approvals over poker nights at the bar. Aunt Ruth baked pies laced with passive-aggressive raisins. Mia and I rebuilt over brunches, her admitting jealousy, me confessing the bond's pull. He's good for you, Eli. Just don't disappear. I promised I wouldn't. Our life wove domestic magic. Mornings in the estate's kitchen, me in boxers flipping pancakes while Nathaniel, still rumpled from sleep, brewed coffee strong as his will. He'd sneak bites, fingers lingering on my hip, leading to counters cleared for more urgent hungers, his mouth hot on the mark, drawing gasps that echoed off marble. Afternoons, I'd sketch at the center, charcoals capturing workers' grit, while he jetted to boardrooms, returning with tales of conquests and contraband kisses in elevators. Evenings were ours, bonfires in the backyard, stars pricking the ink-black sky, his head on my lap as I read aloud, Kerouac's road rants mirroring our wild start. But scars itch. February brought a subpoena, Marcus's defense dredging Jude's case, painting Nathaniel as serial heartbreaker. Paparazzi swarmed the estate gates, drones buzzing like vengeful wasps. I fielded calls from reporters. Is the bond real or PR? Nathaniel shielded, but stress etched lines around his eyes. One night, rut hit him hard, untriggered, primal fury from the siege. He locked himself in the gym, pounding bags until knuckles split, but I followed, slipping through the door with ice and intent. Let me in, I whispered, kneeling amid sweat-slick mats. He broke then, Rut's haze yielding to my touch, bodies slamming in cathartic release. His knot locked us, tears salting skin. Can't lose you. You won't, I vowed, bond thrumming truth. March bloomed betrayal's echo, a letter from Jude, forwarded via lawyers. Not forgiveness this time, but complication. He'd relocated to Beacon, seeking closure. Need to see the man who marked me first. The note read, no malice, just quiet reckoning. Nathaniel paled, crumpling it. Dig up the dead? No, but I pushed bridges. Remember, we met at a neutral cafe overlooking the river. Iced lattes sweating on oak tables. Jude was unassuming, mid-30s, slim as a reed, laugh lines softening old hollows. Betas radiated from him like quiet strength. Conversation flowed awkward at first, whether Yale ghosts then cracked open. I don't blame you, Jude said, eyes on Nathaniel. Blamed myself longest. Tears fell. Hugs exchanged, brothers in survival. Me, outsider turned witness, heart swelling at Nathaniel's raw gratitude. Thank you, he choked. Jude winked at me. Guard him fierce. Omega. He needs it. The encounter mended something ancient. April showers brought green shoots, literal at the center, figurative in us. Opening day loomed. May 1st, ribbons and revelry. Nathaniel threw himself in, alpha energy channeling chaos into triumph. I handled the arts wing, hanging my sketches alongside kids' murals, vibrant chaos of colors, omegas and alphas hand in hand. Love deepened in details, him learning my heat rituals, stocking the bathroom with my favorite unscented gels, me memorizing his stress tics, rubbing thumbs into knotted shoulders post-calls. Sex evolved too, less desperate, more devotional. Slow mornings with sunlight gilding skin, his tongue tracing bond scars until I arched like a bow. nights where I'd top, rare and revelatory, his submission a gift wrapped in growls. But May's dawn carried storm clouds. Opening gala, black tie under tense, string quartet lilting Vivaldi amid finger foods and flashbulbs. My pack turned out, Uncle Cal in a rented tux, beaming, Mia radiant in emerald silk. Nathaniel shone, speech eloquent on renewal, but as applause died, a crash, tense shuddering, screams rippling. Gunshots? No worse. Marcus, out on bail, crashing the party with a megaphone and goons. Placards screaming Blackwood blood money, shoving through security. Chaos erupted. Guests fleeing, my pack herded to safety. I froze on stage, spotlight harsh, until Nathaniel yanked me behind velvet curtains. Stay, he barked, alphas surging forward. Fists flew, Nathaniel tackling Marcus, suits ripping, blood spraying on manicured grass. You son of a, growls drowned words, betas pulling them apart as cops swarmed anew. Marcus spat, cuffed again, he'll rot with me, but the damage? Photos viral, brawl at the gala, headlines twisting heroism to thuggery. Investors balked, the center's funding teetered. That night, in the wreckage, torn tents flapping like surrender flags, Nathaniel paced the study, scotch in fist. I brought this to your door. I stopped him, palms to chest. Our door. We face it. June simmered resentment. Trials dragged. Marcus's circus of delays. Character assassinations painting Nathaniel as tyrant. Public opinion soured. Boycotts hit Blackwood brands. I quit the bar for good. Diving into advocacy, speaking at Omega rights panels. My story a beacon for marked mates in toxic bonds. Nathaniel supported, but distance grew. Late nights, curt calls. The bond strained, a rubber band near snap. One humid evening, heat crashed early, stress-fueled, slick drenching sheets. He wasn't home. Alone, I wrote it out with toys and tears, waking to his guilt-riddled face. Missed it. We fought. Words like shrapnel. You're slipping away. Protecting us. Made up in frenzy. But cracks spiderwebbed. July's heat wave mirrored inner fires. Jude visited dinners turning trio therapy. Laughs healing old gashes. He met a beta. Sparks flying. Nathaniel teased like an older brother. Don't fuck it up. Progress. But August whispered endings. Anonymous tip to Nathaniel Marcus's lawyers digging my past. Orphan records twisted into instability claims. They'll say you're a liability, he confided. Voice hollow. Paranoia peaked. Security at pack gatherings. My sketches locked away from prying eyes. Love felt besieged. Intimacy rationed to quick knots in shadowed corners. September circled the festival anniversary. Ghosts converging. We returned hand in hand through crowds. Bonfire beckoning like a siren. Laughter bubbled, but tension hummed, his grip too tight, my smiles forced. Midway, a kid bumped me, spilling cider, soaking my shirt. Nathaniel overreacted, alpha snarl scattering the family. Enough, I hissed, pulling away. You're smothering me, in the orchard's edge, under apple boughs heavy with fruit. We shattered, accusations flying, his control, my withdrawal. I can't breathe, then leave, the bond wailed, but pride held. He walked away first, leaving me amid fallen leaves, heart a bruised thing. Days blurred, me crashing at Mia's, Him radio silent save bond pulses of agony. Pack rallied. Aunt Ruth's casseroles. Uncle Cal's gruff men are idiots, but hollow. October chilled. Center thriving despite scandals. Kids painting murals of resilient wolves. But without him, it rang empty. Reconciliation brewed in crisis. Mid-month. Fire at the estate, arson. Marcus's parting gift from jail. Nathaniel called. Voice ash. Lost everything. Come home. I did. Finding him amid smoke-damaged ruins. Soot-streaked and broken. No words. Just embrace. Bodies melding in the garden under harvest moon. Don't let go, he begged. Never. I lied. Fear coiling. November's bare branches clawed at gunmetal skies. The Hudson Valley hunkering into a hush that mirrored the standoff in my soul. The estate smoldered in patches. Fire crews long gone. Leaving charred beams like accusatory fingers. But Nathaniel and I danced a wary waltz through the debris. Contractors buzzing like bees on reconstruction. We'd patched our rift with fragile thread. Tentative touches in the guest wing. Shared silences over takeout tie on folding tables. Rebuild stronger, he'd say of the house. I'd nod, thinking us. The bond, that stubborn tether, pulled us inexorably closer. But trust was rebar bent, requiring heat to straighten. Marcus's trial peaked. A media circus in Poughkeepsie Courthouse. Witnesses parading skeletons. Jude testifying with quiet steel. Dismantling lies. Nathaniel took the stand. Alpha poise cracking into raw confession. I was young. Arrogant. Jude deserved better. Elijah deserves better. His eyes found mine in the gallery. Bond thrumming apology. Verdict. Guilty, fraud, extortion, attempted harm. Sentence. 25 years. No parole. Catharsis washed us as we drove home. Windows down. Crisp air scouring clean. It's over, he breathed, hands squeezing mine over the gearshift. I believed it for the first time. December dusted snow like forgiveness. The center's holiday fair a triumph. Booths of mulled wine and handmade wreaths. Kids' choir caroling off-key joys. I manned the art stall, selling sketches, proceeds to Omega shelters, while Nathaniel glad-handed donors. His laugh genuine now, unburdened. My pack integrated fully. Uncle Cal judging pie contests. Aunt Ruth corralling volunteers. Mia flirting shamelessly with a beta firefighter. That night, under fairy lights strung like captured stars, Nathaniel pulled me to the bonfire's edge, echo of our mark. 2 years on. Dance with me, waltz in the grass, his hand warm at my waist. Whispers trading dreams. Adopting pups. Maybe. A cabin in the Adirondacks for escapes. A life, he murmured, nuzzling the mark. Heat bloomed. Unbidden. We slipped away to his truck. Fogging windows with urgent love, his not a vow renewed. New Year tiptoed in gentle. Resolutions whispered over champagne. More vulnerability. Less armor. Therapy continued. Dr. Lena beaming at our progress. You've humanized each other. Spring unfurled verdant. Center classes booming. My first exhibit in Manhattan. Nathaniel's pride a tangible glow at the opening. He bought every piece, hanging them in our rebuilt library like talismans. Intimacy flowered. Exploratory nights where boundaries blurred. His submission deepening trust. Lazy afternoons skinny dipping in the private pond. Laughter echoing as we surfaced. Slick and sated. but humanity's arc bends toward light through shadows. June brought Jude's wedding, small affair in Vermont woods, us as witnesses. Vows exchanged under birch canopies, Nathaniel's hand clammy in mine, ghosts laid to rest with toasts. To second chances, Jude raised glass. We echoed, tears pricking. Back home, it sparked our own ritual. No knee, no fanfare, just a moonlit ceremony in the garden, me in linen, him barefoot on dew-kissed grass. Rings exchanged simple platinum, engraved with festival coordinates. Bound by choice, he said, slipping mine on. I kissed him, salt-laced, guarded forever, summer-simmered content, travel stitching memories, road trip down Route 66, neon motels and diner pies, his head on my thigh as I drove, radio crooning Springsteen. Fall circled, anniversary 3, back to Beacon Fest. Intentional this time. Crowds parted as we walked, town elders nodding respect, kids begging for center tours. At the cider stall, exact spot, he knelt again, not for keys, but truth. Marry me, Elijah. Legally, pack style, bond be damned. Be my life. Laughter bubbled through tears. Yes tumbled out. The mark pulsed, proving. Yet, no tale ends unscarred. October's gales carried a whisper. Health scare. Nathaniel's annual check flagging anomalies, early alpha degeneration. Rare from stress overload. Manageable, Doc said, but fear shadowed his eyes. I rallied, diet tweaks, hikes turning therapeutic, nights where I'd hold him through vulnerability's rut, whispering I've got you like he'd once done for me. The pack encircled, Mia's care packages, Uncle Cal's fishing trips for man talks. Humaneness bloomed in fragility. We planned a simple wedding for spring. Invites handwritten. Guest list intimate. November now. 2 years post-crisis. And we're here. Estate aglow with Reno polish. Center a heartbeat for the valley. This morning, over coffee, Nathaniel traced my ring. Regret the mark? I leaned in, lips brushing his. Never. It led to this. Love, in its American grit, kisses stolen in truck stops, fights mended over bonfires, bonds forged in fire and forgiven in dawn. He's my alpha, guardian of life woven with mine. And in this land of endless roads, we found our way home. Epilogue whispers. Wedding under April blossoms, packs united in cheers, are not sealing vows anew. No by-tragedy here, just human triumph, 2 souls marked by fate, guarding each other against the autumn winds.